if you feel like you're gonna stay here in this body, we're going to praise the Lord. You know, so that's how I encourage
Say
my.
that a little louder. Say it again. The people in the back.
For the people in the back, you have to speak to that illness. Speak to
Yeah.
that illness.
Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Overcoming Illness. So excited tonight to have my guest tonight. We almost had some technical issues, but she did it. So I'm Paula Denoncourt, your host, founder, and CEO of Enrich Your Health. I am a holistic health coach. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking engagements, and now my own TV show. I have digital ebooks and recipe books for people that need to eat like gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free foods that anti-inflammatory so that you don't have as much pain in your body. So if you are a practitioner out there, I need you to help me get my recipes out because one of the things I suffered from was multiple food allergies. And so I couldn't find recipes for myself. Everything had to be dairy-free, sugar-free, nut-free, you name it, everything free. So I needed simple recipes. So if you're out there and you need simple recipes, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, or my phone number is on the screen. But if you're listening, it's 508-330-9665. You can text me or you can go right to the website. I have free gifts on there. I have a reversing illness ebook, and I have 6-day immunity meal plan guide. So feel free to grab those. Those are right in the store. If the store's empty, don't panic. Go to the other one. I'm in the midst of updating a few things. So I am really, really excited tonight to have my guest. We talked last night about some of the health issues he's going through. If you're not aware, most people are aware, we are in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's October. I've done talks for breast cancer back in Massachusetts for the Breast Friends Connection. In fact, Linda, the founder of that, I really want to get her on here. Unfortunately, she's sick. So hopefully she feels better soon and we can get her on here. That's in Massachusetts. I'm in North Carolina. I am walking for breast cancer, so feel free to support me for that. I have to do 31 miles by the end of October. I just did 2.5 today. So it doesn't have to be done all at once. So if anybody wants to join me, reach out. You can text, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, text me 508-330-9665. So welcome everybody. Welcome if it's evening, morning, whatever time of day it is, welcome, whatever part of the world you're in. So I see Nicole is on. Nicole, thank you for being on and thank you for helping me find my guest tonight. Very much appreciated. And I do want to add that also I am looking for more guests. I'm looking for sponsors. If you're looking to get your business known out there, we can advertise your business on the show. So welcome, and I welcome Monica as well. So I am just so excited tonight. So with that, I am going to introduce my guest. Our guest is Antoinette Suzette Ates. She is a servant of the Lord, an elder, apothecary, mother, grandmother, president of Mission Society. She's a psalmist, songwriter, office of helps, and of course, most of all, breast cancer survivor and congestive heart failure survivor. So this woman has gone through a lot. She doesn't know me very well, but I too have had some near-death experiences, but I think she's got me beat. If you don't know me, I suffered from multiple food allergies, so I almost died quite a few times from that. So I want to welcome you, Antoinette. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for sticking through all the technical issues we had to get you on here.
Yes,
So
thank you,
welcome.
Paula. Thank you, and good evening. Thank you for
Good.
having me.
You're welcome. And full disclosure before we get started, this anything we say here is not medical advice, not meant to treat, heal, or cure any illness whatsoever. Always check with your doctor. So I just wanted to add that. So Antoinette, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your family and where you live now, and then we'll go into some of the questions.
Yeah, so you already noted that I am a servant of the Lord, an elder in my
Mhm.
church. I'm a mother of two adult girls, women, and I'm a grandmother of three, president of the Mission Society, a psalmist, songwriter, and I have the Office of Helps. I love helping others. Stand behind the scene. I don't need to be in front, you know?
Mhm.
And I live in Brooklyn, New York, but I'm by way of Albany, Georgia. That's
Oh
where I
wow.
was born, in Georgia. And well, the Lord spare my life. In December, I'll be 67 years old.
Well, God bless that.
So, and
Do
the
you
Lord
have a
is
large?
doing great things for me.
Yeah. Do you have a large family that you grew up with?
I have five. Well, it was five. It's five siblings. I have two brothers, uh, two sisters. One sister passed away
Oh.
about 20 years ago. My baby sister, but it was
Oh.
five of us.
Mhm. Wow.
I have loads of nieces and nephews. Too many to count.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Cousins.
We won't ask you to count them.
No, it's numbered, really.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
about the basics for me.
Okay. Now, when you moved to Brooklyn, were you young or older?
Well, we moved from Albany, Georgia. We first moved to New Jersey, Newark,
Mhm.
New Jersey, and we
Okay.
were there for a few years, and then we moved to New York.
Okay.
Because I've been in New York for like 50, well, yeah, more than
Most of
50
your life.
years. Yeah, most of my life.
Yeah. So you're a true New Yorker.
Yeah, I am, by way of Georgia.
Yeah, we can't really say much about Georgia for you because you don't
No,
live there.
no, 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 no. I left Georgia as a little girl, but I was in. I think I was like in second grade.
Yeah. So you don't
Second
remember any of
grade.
it.
Not too much.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I remember some because I know I used to talk a lot in school when I
Gotcha.
was little. I used to talk a lot, a lot.
You did. Wow.
Yes,
You're the opposite of me.
I
I'm
have
shy.
I have my report card from back then.
You
My
do. Oh
mother
my
kept it.
goodness.
My mother kept it and she gave it to me. And it says on there, I would do, I'm doing well, but the only thing I was very talkative. And that's kind of strange because as an adult, I was never really talkative.
Wow.
I just be
Yeah.
myself.
You're opposites. Yeah,
Yeah.
was shy. I'm
But I
shy.
learned to speak up now. So that's
Yeah.
about it for me.
And you don't mind the cold in Brooklyn with the snow and everything and all that good fun stuff?
Nah, we're used to it.
I moved. Yeah, I moved away from it. I lived in Massachusetts. Now I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it gets cold here, right?
It does get cold here. I thought it'd be a lot warmer in the winter. I thought it'd be more like, 50s, 60s. Oh no, it's like it's a battle, with the heat because it's cold in the mornings. In the winter, I call it like a mild winter.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting the snow and the ice, but yeah, it's not sit by the pool weather. It's quite chilly.
Well,
Yeah.
I love New York. I love New York. Everything, especially the borough that I'm in, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 24/7. You can get whatever you want
That's
in
awesome.
Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, New York is. I went to New York for school. I went to the New York School of Integrative Nutrition, and I was in Upper West Manhattan. I loved it. I loved walking around New York, walking everywhere. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So let's talk a little bit about what you've gone through and how you can give some people some tips on how they can deal with something they may be going through at home.
Okay.
So let's go with the first health problem that you had, and that was breast cancer. So tell us about your journey of learning that you had breast cancer. How did you figure out that you might have breast cancer? What was your reaction? So tell everybody about that. Let's just go into that, like, paint us a picture of what was going on.
Okay, so I was, I was had a normal life, going to work, school at that time. I was going to school also, and I began to notice when I would wake up in the mornings, my breast would feel like it was like pinging, like there was something, and then I figured, I really didn't think it was anything that great, but it kept happening. And, I had that, it was like a throbbing, banging kind of thing. Right. And I was like, oh, maybe because I sleep face down, maybe that's, maybe that's why my breast was like that. But then I started sleeping on my side. And one morning when I got up, it felt like my pajama top was wet. And I was like, oh, what is going on here? So when I got up out of the bed and I I have like my closets have mirrors on them. So I went and I stood up in front of the mirror and I could see it was blood all on my pajamas. My pajamas was a light pink color. And right away I started to get, anxiety started to take. I was like, what is going on? And then when I went into the bathroom, I took off my pajama top, and then the blood was coming out of my nipple. Yeah. Wow. And then I knew that, and then it was throbbing at the same time. So that's the way I first began with that. So I called my doctor and they told me to come in right away that day. I didn't go to work. And I went into the office. My doctor, he checked me out and everything. And then he left me in his office to go. He says, I'll be right back. I'm going to go upstairs to the surgeon. And I was like, the surgeon?
Oh, wow.
Why is he going up to he said, I want to go talk to the surgeon. So he did that. He came back and he said that we're going to go upstairs to the surgeon. They're going to do a biopsy right then. They didn't even have me come back. They said, because with things like this, you have to work quickly, So he really knew what was going on, but he wasn't the one to tell me, my medical doctor. So when I go upstairs to the surgeon started to explain what was going on with my breast and what they were going to do. They were going to do a biopsy, they want to, test it. So they did all of that and everything. And then I went home, got up the next day to I went to work, and then I received a call. The nurse called me and says, Miss Antoinette, the doctor wants you to, if you can you come into the doctor's office today? She said, you need to get here immediately.
Wow.
Like that, right? So it only took like 24 hours for them to get the result. That was really quick. That was really quick, right? So now I get up, I told my boss, look, I have, I'm sorry, but I have an emergency. I have my doctor's office call and I have to go there right now. And they was like, go ahead, go and do what you got to do, right? So when I get to the doctor's office again, he took me upstairs to the surgeon's office again. And they were like, we want to do an extensive mammogram. They said that the biopsy came back, it was negative. No, sorry, positive. Okay. So right away, what goes through your mind. And then he told me, he says, because you have breast cancer. We don't know just yet what stage it is, but we need to take some more tests. So fast forwarding, they set me up to do what they call at that time extensive mammogram. It wasn't like your regular mammogram that we take, you know. So I went downstairs to the area. They started taking the photos and the this and that. And every time they would do the x-rays and whatnot of it, they would get on the phone and some way put it through the computer so the doctor could see it. And then he would say, okay, I need you to do another one and let her position herself this way or that way. So they did about 6 or 7. So finally, when he said, okay, we have enough. And I went back upstairs. And then that's when they told me it was stage 4.
Wow.
I broke down,
Yeah,
which
of
is
course.
normal. Started crying because the first thing you think about is when they tell you you have any type of cancer, is that, oh God, I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. And I really thought I was going to die. But thank God, the surgeon was a Christian. And he told me, he says, Antoinette, go ahead and cry. It's okay to get it out. He says, but he says, I feel that, you're a Christian. He asked me, he says, are you a Christian? And I was like, yes, I believe in God. Like that. So he started talking. He says, well, I am also. He says, but I'm a doctor, a surgeon. But he says, we know who we put our trust in and our faith in. He said, because God allows, him as a doctor to help the patients heal. And he said, it's okay to cry because the first thing you're going to think about is that you're going to die. But he says, you're not going to die. That's what he told me. He says, as long as you believe and have faith in Jesus.
Yeah.
He said, you may have to go through what you got to go through, but eventually you're going to come out of it. And at that moment, I dried up all my tears. Right? I did not cry again.
Wow.
Okay. And I know that when you were coming on the air, you had a pastor there that was talking about you have to speak it. That's what went on at our service today. That we are healed, but you have to open your mouth and you have to speak it.
Yep.
Now, sometimes people are healed supernaturally. They're healed, you know what I mean? And sometimes the Lord allows us to go through certain illnesses so that when he brings us out, no matter how he chooses to bring us out, whether he's using the doctor to help you come out, or if he, you know what I mean, if he's supernaturally going to do it, heal your body.
Yep.
But you got to always keep your trust and your faith in God.
Yep. And
you must speak it with your mouth. So from that, they said that, it was, very aggressive, the breast cancer, because I was already in stage 4. And, when they say you have stage 4 cancer, they was like, nobody survives that. I was like, well, I don't know about nobody, but I'm going to be the first one because I'm going to claim it.
Yeah.
That I'm going to be healed, whether it's through the doctors. Because I asked the Lord, I said, please, number one, please give me doctors that care about me.
Yeah.
Please give me doctors. The same thing I did with my congestive heart failure. Please give me doctors if I gotta do chemo, radiation, that they really know what they're doing. Or because I had to have surgery also to remove my lymph nodes, and I had a tumor in my breast also. So they did that at the same time when I had the surgery for that. But God was with me, and at that same time they had put the port in my chest because I was going to have to take chemotherapy, 6 sessions of potent chemotherapy. And my oncologist told me, he said, it's a 50-50 chance when you take chemo.
Wow.
You could die. You could 50% you could die, and 50% you can live. It's just like basically a chance that you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could have said no, I'm not, I don't want to do chemo. Because I said, once you do chemo, or your hair is gonna fall out and all that stuff, which it did. All my hair fell out. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, no nothing.
Oh wow, you lost it all.
I was completely bald. When I started the chemo, my first session, I was very, very ill from the first session. But after, telling the doctor what was going on, they gave me something through the next session. They gave me something through my IV to help me, because I was like very nauseous and everything tasted like chalk or cotton. It felt like metal was in my mouth, my tongue.
Yeah,
no matter how much I brushed my tongue, it washed out my used mouthwash, gargle, or none of that. It didn't help me. So I went through 6 sessions of chemo. Once I finished the chemo, plus I had in between that I had prior to the chemo I had surgery to remove lymph nodes, the tumor that was in my breast, and to put a port in my chest because I would be taking chemo. So I started taking the chemo. The first session I was very sick. Second session I was okay. Up with the second, third, fourth, and fifth, but and during all that time, I didn't stay home. I went to work.
Wow, that's amazing.
But they didn't know. Only a couple of people at my job knew that I had cancer. I told no one, because when you tell people that you have cancer and whatnot, the word starts traveling. Oh, she has cancer. She's going to die. They be speaking word curses against you.
It's true.
So I was like, I don't want to say anything, just to my two good friends at the job. And they never opened their mouth up about it. So I finished my chemo. They said I had to do radiation. I did 39 consecutive sessions of radiation. And what they used to do, and mind you, I would they set it up so I could come in at 7:30 every morning, Monday through Friday, no Saturday and Sunday. They set it up where I could come in at 7:30. They would call me within 15 minutes to go in for radiation. But even before the radiation can be done, there's another process you got to go through where you go into this room. And it's really cold in there, and you have to lay on the table. You're undressed and everything, because what they have to do, they're gonna scar you for the area where you're gonna have the radiation.
Oh wow!
They don't just take you in and do radiation, because you could die. They have to pinpoint the area of where the radiation is going to go. So what they did, I had to lay on a table in a cold room, ice cold room. I had to lay on the table for 1 hour. And I had to be still. I could not move. They said once they started the process of scarring the area, which they put, it was like a little pen, a needle. When you I was like a pen tip. And they started to go around the area of the breast where the radiation was going to take place. And that scarring is like somebody scrape you and you start to bleed. It started bleeding because it made a circle. And they told me, if you move during the procedure, we'll have to start all over again.
Ouch.
I'm telling you, I never prayed so much on that table in all my life.
I can
to keep
imagine.
still, because at that point I wanted to, everything starts bothering you. You get an itch over here, you want to scratch, you got tears coming out, you can't move, can't even wipe your face, nothing. And it's like everything was itching, my foot, my leg,
Oh my
everything. And I
God.
was like, Lord, please just let me, I got a few more minutes more, please don't let me move. Because what they would do during the process, they take pictures before, pictures during, and they take pictures after. Now, after they finish the scraping, I made it through the 1 hour. They come and they take this marker like a Sharpie, and it's black, and they outline where they scraped, because the blood is still oozing out. And once
Did
they
you feel
outline,
it?
huh?
Did you feel it or did they numb it?
No numbing. No, ma'am.
Ouch.
It was not. I was not numb.
Oh.
It's only God that kept me on that table like that.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
mean, really. Yes. And then finally, they was like, "Okay, you did good, and we're gonna you know, we're gonna they put some kind of ointment on there, right? And then the bleeding stopped, but the outline around my breast was a big black circle. And from there, they made the appointment for me to come in the following week to start my radiation. And every morning I would go in at 7:30 because they knew I wanted to go to work. After I did my radiation treatment, I did not want to go back home because I didn't want to go home. I wanted to go to work. I wanted to keep my mind busy, keep myself busy. I didn't want to stay home and then be dwelling on, my cancer.
Right.
Because that's how the enemy, that's what he wants you to do.
Right.
To sit and dwell on it.
Right.
And he'd be like, well, okay, so you believe in God, you believe in Jesus. So where is he now? Why do you have cancer? Why are you going through this? Why doesn't he heal your body? But he was healing my body just in that manner, because without me going through all of that, I wouldn't be able to be on here to talk to you about it and
Right.
to give my testimony every chance that I get.
Amen.
Now, after I did 38 straight days of radiation. My 39th day was on when 9/11, when the planes hit the tower. I was supposed to be doing my final 39th session of radiation, and I couldn't do it because the planes had hit the towers and stuff, and everything was all crazy. So they gave me an appointment to come back in 3 weeks to do it. Otherwise, I would have did 39 consecutive days. So I did 38 consecutive days. Then I had a space of 3 weeks, and then I went back and completed my 39 sessions of radiation.
So let me interrupt for 1 minute.
Yes.
Think about the number 39. What does the number 39 pertain to with Jesus?
I believe it was the stripes he took.
Yep. By his stripes you are healed.
Yes.
39 stripes.
39. Yeah. And it was on 9/11 when I was supposed to get the 30, my 39th session. But I went to work and I had to tell I didn't tell them when I was diagnosed with the cancer.
Right.
Only my 2 friends at work, my trusted friends. And I had to tell them, my job, that I would be coming in late every day for 39 days. And then I had to tell them I had breast cancer. And they were like, my boss was like, well, why didn't you let us know? Right. You were going through all of this? I said, I didn't want to because I didn't want it to spread around the office. Excuse me, that I had cancer, because some people, they have the devil in them. Right. They only think the worst. They think the worst for you. Right. They never compliment you. They never say anything good. It's always something negative. And I didn't want that. I didn't want any negativity, because I knew that the God that I trust and believed in was going to heal me.
Yep.
How he chose to do it, that was his choice.
Right.
Okay, so I finished my radiation treatment and everything, and I go to see my oncologist for my, my follow-ups and whatnot. And then they put me on this pill called from, I think it's what was for I forget the name now. Start with a T. And
Was
then
it tamoxifen?
tamoxifen.
My mom was on that.
Yes, ma'am. Tamoxifen for 5 years. And then after that, they said, well, there's a better drug that came out that we feel that it's better for you because you're progressing so well, after having, stage 4 breast cancer. So they gave me another pill called Femera for 5 years. Took that. Everything was going fine. I was okay. But what happened is, every 3 weeks I would have to go in to the oncologist's office, but the nurse would do it. The cancer nurse, she would flush my port that was in my chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they kept that in for a lot of years because they said that you never know if you would have to get chemo again, the port would be there. Some doctors, they'll remove the port from the patient, but my doctor didn't. He felt that just in case, if I wouldn't, he said, I don't think you will need it, but just in case. So they left it in. I left that in like another 5 years. And I developed a blood clot at the tip of the port. When I was scheduled for them to remove the port, right? Finally take it out, because you have to have surgery to take it out. I got sick at work. I started swelling. And my friend was like, Antoinette, your face is swelling. Look, I'm looking at you and you're just blowing up. So my company, my boss, they was like, no, you got to go to the hospital right now. I said, well, no, I want to wait and go to my doctor in Brooklyn. They was like, oh, no, Two of my friends from work, my co-workers, they went with me in a cab, and we went over. They took me over to NYU. They took one look at me, and they was like, right away, they took me to the back.
Right.
And I started telling them my history and everything. That I was, I didn't know at that time that I had a blood clot at the tip of the port, and that's what was calling a blockage. And I was swelling. It was causing me to swell. So they went over everything. So finally, they did so many tests on me. They say we have one other test we want to do, and it's called a venogram, where they put you in the tube. The only thing that was hanging out was the top of my head. Everything else was in the tube. Okay. And what that did was it looked at every vein in my body to see if they could spot anything. And that's when they saw the blood clot at the tip of the port. Now, mind you, I was scheduled to go into the hospital the day that I got sick at work. The day after, I was scheduled to go in the hospital to have the port removed. But, thanks be unto God, he caused me to start swelling.
Wow.
So that I could go to the hospital so they could find out what was going on. And what happened? I had a blood clot. They told me, had I had that port removed the next day,
it would have killed you.
I would have probably died, because the blood clot would have moved, and it probably would have gone to my brain, to my lungs, to my liver, to my heart. Yeah.
Blood clots, joke. I know people that have died from them. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And what they did at NYU, they gave me a heparin drip. I was there 7 days. They broke up the blood clot, and they removed the port. I didn't have to go to my other surgeon. But they said that thank God that you didn't remove the port with the blood because you didn't know you had a blood clot. And after that, I was feeling so much better from that. And then, a little while later, my oncologist, I went for my follow-up and everything. And he was like, well, we're going to take you off all the medication because they said we don't see anything, and they said your progress is so good that we've never actually seen that with a person that has stage 4 cancer.
Did you have your breast removed or no?
No, I didn't. They said that I could have if I wanted breast reconstruction if I wanted, but no. And if I wanted it to remove, it's still a fit. Your cancer can still come back even if you remove your breast.
Absolutely.
It just come back in a different place.
Yep.
I've known people that had cancer that happened to,
Right.
So it was my decision not to remove my breast, and I did not have breast reconstruction. That's why I have, one of my breasts is larger than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I think about it that, I regretted maybe not doing, I should have done that, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, good.
It doesn't bother me. But thank God that he brought me through that. And then, and then I had my family, my church family, they were constantly keeping me in prayer and surrounding me with love.
That's
And
awesome.
that's what counts. You know what I
How
mean?
old were you? Yeah, let's back up a little bit. Then we'll talk about the congestive heart failure.
Yes.
How old were you when you developed the breast cancer?
43. I think I was 42, 43 years old.
Wow. And what is the age now for the mandatory mammogram? Is it 55?
For I believe it's 50.
Oh, is it 50 now? Yeah.
I believe
Wow.
it's 50. Is it, you know what? I want to say 45.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Because
Anybody who's watching, if you know, go ahead.
I believe it's 45.
Okay.
Because they said
Wow.
so many women have developed, are developing breast cancer and different, so they need to I believe it's 45. Because I have one of my youngest daughter, they because I have breast cancer, so my daughters don't have to go get checked regularly.
Right, they're susceptible to be in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they, my youngest daughter, she's 39, and my oldest daughter is 48. So they go on a regular
Okay.
to do mammograms. Even though my daughter's 39, she still does the mammograms.
And Kimmy Grader says then before 40. Yeah, it's
Oh, Kimmy Gale. Yes. That's one of my friends.
Well, welcome, Kimmy. Thank you for coming on. If family history 35, she says.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew somebody when the very first time I've heard of somebody getting breast cancer.
Yeah.
She was 25 years old. 25, and she lost her life. She did not get through it. Yeah. Right. And in fact, I don't know if you guys saw today, Suzanne Summers just passed away.
Yeah, we saw. I saw that. I think Prophetess Nicole showed it to me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's everybody's saying it was breast cancer, but I don't know if that's official. Like, did she actually?
I believe she had cancer.
She did.
Yeah.
She had breast cancer, but I don't know if the breast cancer is what took her, or did it develop into something else? I don't know.
Yeah.
She had it a long time, quite a few years. Yeah, quite a few years.
But thank God.
So you're in your 40s, and then what was it? A few years later, you got the blood clot. Is that right?
Well, the few years I was in, the blood clot was when I was going. Yeah, a few years later, when they were going to take out my port. That's when I had the blood clot.
So you were going through that port in you for how many years?
Over 5 years.
You had a port in you for 5 years? My
Yep,
goodness.
I used to go every 3 weeks to go and flush it.
Wow.
My
I mean,
oncologist said that he did not want to take it to remove it, that it was safe.
that must have
Right?
been so hard to live with. My
So I
goodness.
was like, oh Lord, now I gotta keep this, all kinds of things go to your head,
Hmm.
But I said, I trusted God so far with my doctors.
Right.
So I have to continue trusting.
Right.
So I thank God for that.
Yeah.
He brought me through all of that because I could have easily have died that day had they taken out that port with the blood clot at the tip.
Wow.
Had no idea, none
Yep.
whatsoever. But I tell you, you know, with God, with Christ, you can do all things.
Absolutely.
He can do all things but fail you.
Right. I agree.
So that's my journey with breast with the breast cancer. But
Yeah. And I think
Christian,
you've already addressed this a little bit, but
yeah.
you said how did it affect your body, mind, and spirit? But it sounds like you just kept having faith in God and
Mhm.
your prayer warriors from, surrounding you, your family, you had good support.
Mhm.
So,
And I didn't sit back and just not do anything. I went to church. I
mhm.
served. I was
Wow,
on, I was on the choir. And I went to work.
good for you. Yeah,
So I thank God for that because He gave me strength
yeah,
to go, to go through it. Because I know a lot of people they have died from it,
absolutely. Yep,
and I thank God that He allowed me, to He heal my body and it's keeping me alive on
absolutely.
today. So I'm able to tell my testimony to someone. Maybe it'll
Okay,
help
so
lift them
yeah,
up, give them strength.
yep,
Because we all don't have that strength, don't have that type of mindset.
no, no.
But I
And that's
thank
why
God.
I'm thankful to have
Yeah.
your story. Yeah,
Yes,
people
ma'am.
need it. So let's get into a little bit about, okay, how many years later now did you
So
develop congestive heart
and
failure?
so a few years later, 2009, I started gaining weight. Right.
Okay.
I didn't know what was, I was like, oh, I gotta cut that, cut out this, cut out that, I'm getting, and I was like, wait a minute, every week it seemed like I'm getting bigger, and what was happening was I was retaining fluids.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I had fluid around my heart, and the fluids were not coming out of, exiting my body as they should.
Right.
Everything was backed up. So that's why I
Yeah.
was swelling. I mean, I was huge. I went, and then I got sick at work. Here we go again. I got sick at work.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up going to the doctor, to the hospital where Kimmy Gale, that's on, was a registered nurse there. I
Mm-hmm.
ended up going there through the emergency. They took me in right away. They kept me overnight because they said I was retaining. They did some tests. I was retaining fluid, and they called the cardiologist to come down to see me. And then
Mm-hmm.
that same night, and then they put me on a drip of Lasix to release fluids. I stayed
Mm-hmm.
overnight, and by the next morning, I had lost like about 15 pounds.
Wow.
It was all fluid. And then the cardiologist came and she talked to me and everything. Yep, that's what I had. Congestive heart failure started then. And this doctor has been my private cardiologist since 2009. I still see her.
Oh wow.
And I'll tell you, from that time, my heart started to decrease, my heart rate. My
Mm-hmm.
heart rate got down to less than 8% on about 6 or 7 occasions. No, I was told, my heart specialist told me that it's nobody but God, your faith, that's keeping you going, because I should be dead.
Right.
Because when your heart rate is that low, when you move your movements, you're walking slow, you're dragging actually. You're dragging.
Yeah.
You're breathing hard.
I was gonna say your breathing must have been heavy. Yeah.
Yes. But I just kept my mindset was like, I trust you, Lord. And I would sing songs to myself, quote scriptures.
Yeah.
Healing scriptures. And I'm like, I will live and not die.
Yep.
Because I'm going to declare the works of the Lord.
Yep.
And declare his word also. And
Amen.
I made it. I called the doctor, and I was on my way to work one morning, and I was like, I can't do this. I parked my car. I got out because I used to park my car to go take the subway to go to work. And then I couldn't make it. I called my doctor on her private number. And I told her what was going on. And she was like, can you get to the office now? And I made it. When I walked in there, it was like, nope. I had to go to the hospital to be admitted. Because she says, Antoinette, I don't know how you even made it here. I said, I made it by the grace of God. And she says, but nobody. She said she have patients where they're like that. Their heart rate is low. Like she said, they don't even make it into the office. They die.
Wow.
They die.
Wow.
And to this day, I still see her. And I have specialists that I see over at New York Presbyterian Hospital. They're very good. And then once again, I asked the Lord, I says, can you please give me doctors that care about their patients? If they have to prescribe any medication, can you give me doctors that's going to give me the proper medication? I don't want to just be a guinea pig where they try all these different drugs on me to see if they work. And the Lord, he honored my request because I have excellent doctors. And right now, my heart rate, and they tell their other patients, when I go into the office, they be telling them about me. How my heart rate was, less than 8% so many times. And now it is increased. It's almost 50% now. So I thank God for that.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
I never really had to stop doing what I do until I got sick in 2016. I had to get my heart rate started to drop again, and I ended up in ICU at the hospital. And then they wanted to try to put a line through my neck in the vein. They tried one time, and I tried to explain to them as an issue with on the right side of my body, there wasn't any blood. If you can believe that. Okay, so it had to be all God that was keeping me. I had no blood running through my veins on the right side of my body and my neck and my chest. Okay, and then they came back to do the same procedure again, and then that's when they pierced my lungs.
Oh no!
I started bleeding internally. I had no idea what was going on because I blacked out. I had to have emergency surgery that same day.
Wow.
They did not. My brother and my sister and a minister friend of mine was came to the hospital to visit me that Sunday, but they waited until they finished the procedure. And then, because thank God my brother and my sister were there because somebody had to sign the paper for them to do the emergency surgery because I was bleeding internally.
Wow.
Okay. And they told my brother and my sister that they should call the family, get the family together because they didn't expect for me to live overnight. I had a ventilator, the machine for breathing and everything on. And I began, all I know is when I was out cold, I began to see it was like dark, like at night when the stars twinkle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was seeing.
Hmm.
It was like I was in a deep sleep,
Mm.
and that's what I was seeing. Like it was dark, but there still was light because the stars were so bright.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it as the Lord showing me, you're in a dead situation right now, a dark situation, but there's still light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those stars was Jesus.
Yeah.
Was the stars. I just
Wow.
didn't realize that until later on when I thought about it. And I
Mm.
tell people all the time, that's what I was seeing. And they said that I wasn't going to make it through the night. And that morning, I remember because the sun was bright in my room. I was still in ICU, and I could see the nurse in front from my peripheral vision. I could see the nurse, and I started talking with the machines on me, and I startled her, and she was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "What is? I want to take this off. I don't know what this is. I'm talking with these gadgets, with all these
Right.
stuff on, And she's looking at me. She says, "Well, 1 second, Miss Antoinette, I'm gonna go get the doctor." Right? When she came back, she had like 15 doctors with her in my room. Okay, and the doctor started talking to me, and I was answering her, and they looking at me like, "How in the world is she talking with all that stuff on her, in her mouth, through her nose? How in the world could she be talking? Because with God, everything's possible."
Right.
Okay, so the Lord showed them that He is a miracle worker because I woke up. They said that I wasn't going to. They said I wasn't going to make it through the night,
Right.
but I did. But right now, I'm still seeing the doctors for my congestive heart failure. But with the Lord's help and His hand upon my life, I'm still here. And my they call it injection fracture is almost 50% now. So people might say 50%, but you're not 100%. That's okay. I'm still functioning.
You're still functioning. You're
I'm
breathing.
still telling my testimony to everybody.
Yeah.
Whether they want to hear it or not. My church family can tell you.
I think people do want to hear it.
Every chance I get, I open my big mouth. I used to be quiet. But with Prophetess Nicole that's on, she's a pusher.
Okay. Nice.
And she would push the heck out of you.
Yeah.
She would push and push and push. And I thank God for her.
Tell people, like a lot of people don't understand this. I try to talk about this. I've talked about it on other shows.
Yeah.
Tell people how to talk, how to speak, how to tell yourself you're not ill. How did you do that for yourself?
Well, I stayed in the Word of God.
Yeah.
I had printed out scriptures, healing scriptures.
Yeah.
And positive things. Well, God, you said, because people say, I can't talk to God. You can.
Yeah.
You can open your mouth and speak it. He hears you. You put it in the atmosphere.
Right.
I shall not die, but live to declare the word of the Lord.
Yep.
The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my healer.
Amen.
He's Jehovah Rapha. In Him do I put my trust. Because in all my ways, I acknowledge Him. And that's what I tell people. You have to, it was said today over and over. You have to speak it. It's not hard to speak it. If you can't remember scriptures or whatever, get your Bible.
Yep.
And just go through it. I mean, go to Google.
Yep.
Go to Bible Gateway. Google.
And you can Google healing scriptures.
Right. Scriptures for healing.
Yep.
Christian scriptures for healing. and it'll be thousands of them.
And you
Thousands.
can listen to it too. You don't
You
even
can
have,
listen to it also. Audio. I do that also on my tablet.
or you can, here's another one that was told to me. I thought this was great. Record yourself, then listen back to it because it's your voice.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's another thing you can do. Record yourself making declarations of that by his stripes I am healed, like you said, and record those scriptures and then listen to yourself, play yourself back.
Right.
So you
And
do that.
prayer helps. Prayer
Absolutely.
is the key.
Yeah.
Because that's what helped me through both my journeys, the breast cancer and the congestive heart failure. Prayer and worshiping.
Yep. Totally agree. And thank God for your healing. Go around and thank him. Thank you, God, for healing. If you're not healed yet, doesn't matter. Just thank him.
You just thank him every day.
And things will start to dissipate. I can't make any claims, but you'll see a shift.
Because I want to tell you, when I came home with the congestive heart failure, when I came home in 2016, I had 17 medications plus a PICC line with the drip. And I kept that PICC line in for 9 months.
Wow.
I wasn't able to go anywhere. They told me, you can't go here, you can't go there. Only when you come into the doctor's office for a follow-up. And then my nurse used to come twice a week for 8 weeks. The nurse came to my home, to check the port and everything. And, people say, well, you was taking so many medications. But as I worship and I pray every day, I quote my scriptures. And I had a village that was still, working with me, telling me positive things, not negative stuff, praying for me, praying with me. They used to come to my house and pray with me and everything. And little by little, the Lord started to decrease my medications. So now I'm on 6 medications for the heart. And the other one, the 7th one was for when I had shingles, the nerve pain.
Okay.
But from 18 medications to 7, I think it's pretty good. I say that's a miracle too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't want to be on the medication all your life, No. But thank God.
Well, we're running out of time. I told you we'd have no problem going to the hour. We could do a series. First of all, thank you for being on tonight. Thank everybody that's come on tonight to watch. We appreciate you so much for being on tonight. This has been amazing. Tell everybody how they can reach you if they have something they're going through and they just need someone to talk to, maybe to pray with them, whatever.
Well, I'm on Facebook as Antoinette Suzette Eights. They can, they can connect through me through Messenger. I'll give you my email address, which is asa4776@aol.com.
Okay.
And I'll also give you my phone number, 917-744-8451.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like I said, this has been absolutely amazing. I'm sure somebody out there is going through either breast cancer or congestive heart failure or even maybe another illness, but people need your stories. So please, if you know somebody that, could tell their story and come on here and it could help someone else, please reach out to me through Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, or text me and we'll set something up. 508-330-9665. That's right on the screen. But yeah, this has been amazing. I told you we could do a whole series on this. Yeah, it's just been I'm glad you came on. And last but not least, Antoinette, you have a book coming out. What's the name of the anthology? Do you have a name of it?
I don't have it's not my book, so I don't know the name of it just yet. But when I find out, I will be the first to let you know.
All right. When you find out the name of that anthology, we'll have maybe a couple of you on and we'll talk about the anthology with the other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you, Nicole. Again, she's the one who helped you get on. So I appreciate all of you. So thank you. All right, everybody. We will see you next Sunday with another amazing guest. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Thank
week.
you. Good night.
Bye-bye.